So hi, I'm Martin. I'm in product for around 20 years, and I came into the Berlin startup scene after having my own company, and everything was digitalized then, and it went boring sitting there and just push buttons. So been there since then, in all kind of product roles, from product manager up to chief product officer. I did also a few years of consulting in product teams and organizations who struggle with building product teams. And I'm also educated professional business coach and also master in organizational consulting. So that's who I am. And I still love what I do. After 20 years, I still love doing products, building products. Work together with my team, with my teams, with people, interact. That's so much fun. So here I am.
Great to have you today, Martin. Really, so we're here to talk
Thank
with
you.
you about something that is a topic that is really crucial for product managers inside any type of companies and whatever the stage. I believe this is across organizations stages, which is stakeholder management and managing relationships and aligning behaviors around goals and outcomes we want to produce for the product management, and how to swim maybe between the lines. So now that we know who you are and why we should listen to you, maybe you can take it away talking about maybe the core principles and your philosophy around managing relationship and collaboration inside the company.
So to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the term stakeholder management, because you can't manage stakeholders like you manage your backlog or you manage your desk or whatever. And you already said the key word. It's about the relationships. You having relationships with the people around you. And let us not forget, like, the people who influence you in your product and what you do, like people from marketing, people from sales, people from legal or whatever, depending on the company you're in. They also play a crucial part in building this product, right? They're not the product manager. The product manager holds the power for the final decision, but in the end, they are here because they play a part, they play their role in the success of the product. And that's the magic about organizations. They have different roles, so they follow different logics. Like marketing, of course, they want to grow. Sales, of course, they want to sell, right? It's very simplified, right? But that's their role. They want to grow as a company. They want to grow with the customers. So for a product manager, I believe it's essential to work closely with these people who also take their job seriously, who also bring a lot of expertise, but from a different perspective. And this is, for me, the key, the relationship you're having, and also understanding the perspectives of your stakeholders, of the people who around you, who build this product with you.
It's really interesting. So would you include users and customers inside it as well, or would you separate those two things?
Yeah, both. Of course, user is the user, and as a product manager, this is the group of people who you represent as a product manager. And some product people have a more like a delivery-oriented role. Some product people have more business role or discovery role, depending on your context, right? But the user's voice, this is what you represent in the company. Like marketing might represent growing the user base or whatever, right? So that's one thing. And I believe we product managers or product owners are not too bad in understanding the user. We have a lot of tools, we have a lot of experience, we have a lot of knowledge. We might even have a research or UX team in-house, which can facilitate these things. And you have a lot of data and knowledge and empathy about your user, right? And so my idea is use these tools you use for your users or your customers, depending on B2B, right? Use these tools also for your stakeholder, for your internal team. Yeah, and let's say team, it's not your development team as in the core, it's your whole team who is part of the value creation process. And I believe this is important to understand, like this value creation process. It starts with concepting, it starts with marketing campaigns. It also starts with, I don't know, salespeople getting the voice out. I don't know, just making up example. And it's a whole chain of adding value to your product, and it ends with shipping it to your customer or to your user and do some research how it turned out, right? So for me, the internal team, the stakeholders, let's call them stakeholders for now, use tools you have for your users and use them for your stakeholders. Try to understand, the basics of your user persona is what is their need and what is the context they're in, right? So the need is, for my company, is have more clarity about your symptoms in health. You feel sick and you don't know, is it serious? That's your need. You need information. You need transparency about your health condition. And the context would be, yeah, it's early in the morning, the kids are crying, you don't have much time to make a decision, right? And you use this framework also for your stakeholders. Like, what is the context? What is their need? Where are they? What is their challenge? What do they have on the table? And it's not so much that you should solve their problems. It makes the whole relationship more valuable if you try to think in their head, get their perspective, understanding what they have on the table. And then, and this is very basic, right? Once you have this empathy and this deep understanding of your stakeholders, you will have a different conversation. And of course, we have to make a prioritization of our things we build and our problems we want to solve. And there will be conflicts, prioritization conflicts. That's our daily business, to deal with the prioritization conflicts, right? And that's probably another topic, but let's stay for a second with the empathy and the relationship. This is very crucial. Take your time to talk to these people and have like a structured way to grow this relationship. Structured way meaning you have you meet them frequently, or like once a month you go for a beer or whatever makes sense. And once you're there, you're having a different conversation. Then the whole repertoire is much easier. Like talking about the prioritization, talking about expectations. Expectation management is a very crucial part also. Sell your idea. You come up with your great product strategy and you come up with your goals you have for the quarter, whatever. You have to sell it in the company. I rarely see the companies who a superstar product manager walks down the hall and like every department says, yeah, bless me with your knowledge. It's not going to happen. Even if some book authors and product coaches imply that should be the role of the product manager. It isn't. It's not the reality out there. So everything you know about your user and everything you know about your business model and the things you believe are important now, you have to sell it.
I think it's you're really nailing it. A needed reminder, I feel, that building these relationships allows you to have a better understanding of what drives people, what is their level of expectation, and then articulate that with the reality of what you want to convey, where you want to bring people, and bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to go tomorrow. So that's a great reminder here, that lead with empathy, discover what drives people so you can better articulate then your idea and sell it internally and externally as well, because I'm sure that also makes sense for users. If you understand users better, you will be able to convey the value that you provide to them and to the problem you solve much, much better.
Yeah. And there's another thing, like we all have our mental models. We all grow it over the years. And that's how we look at the world. And this is also how we look at our product and at our organization we are working in. And also your stakeholders have their own mental models, which very likely differs from yours. Don't assume, talk to them and say, why did you ask for this? Why is this important now? And why is it more important to what you asked for yesterday? Having this rational discussions and just ask people. And this is also very basic. It's a very basic information I give you here, but I guarantee you it will solve a lot of problems and a lot of conflicts you might have in your daily business.
Just leading with, why do you ask that? How do you
Yeah.
see it, right? Just open-ended question that will create this dialogue that you need to be able to understand each other. And that's definitely understanding each other is a first step and the needed step for any type of alignment. And you were talking about alignment around prioritization and understanding that. I know that's a big thing. We were talking about it with I think Graham Reed, which is a product operations specialist as well, and also Stefan Delbeck, a product manager consultant. And both in the past interview we've done, were saying like how and why we take decision is so important, and it starts with understanding where everyone talks from, right?
Yeah. For me, there are like two important aspects. We call ourselves product manager or product owners, like implying that we have our role is to make the final decision, and we say where we're going to, where we're heading to. But this is this responsibility, right? And you have this formal responsibility by your role because you're the product owner, but you also have to earn this responsibility. And it's like you have to build the trust. And once you build the trust with your stakeholders, they probably leave you alone because they know, okay, what he decided, it may not the thing I want now, but I believe he makes a reasonable decision. So building the trust is very important, and building trust means you always have to be transparent and clear, and the clarity is also important. So if for example, if marketing asks you for something which supports their campaign, which starts in 2 weeks, then you can be very upset because it was not on the roadmap. But you could also say, look, this quarter we focus on quality improvements because we go to new markets in summer. Why is the thing you ask now for more important than our overall strategy? So have like a conversation around data, and he say, yeah, I understand that we focus on quality at the moment, but this marketing campaign is so important because it has this super great impact. And then you have this discussion. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you always have to say yes to everything. Of course not. There will be tough decisions where you have to say no. But always be clear about it. Say, look, for this reason, I had to decide this way. This is why I decided and why I deprioritized your topic. And we will have this conversation again in 2 weeks, and then we see again, right? So you have to invest this time. And I know this is sometimes it's not the fun part, but it's a very integral part, building these relationships on trust. And also, and this is not in the books, right? In the product management books, but it's a give and take, right? You can't go with the mindset in this whole process like, I have to win. I'm the product owner. I'm the product manager. I say what is going on here. This is not work out. So it's a give and take. And maybe you have made a decision, but you also give sales the thing they want because it makes the whole process easier, and it's probably not so important what you have to prioritize from your roadmap. So it's not about winning, it's about building a successful product together and understand their perspectives. It's wrong to expect from a sales guy to understand the logic you are thinking when prioritizing something for delivery, right? That's not his role or her role in sales. Her role is make the customer happy. This is always in product coaching sessions, this comes up so many times. And when I asked, did you actually ask a person? No. I could do that. I didn't know that.
We focus very much sometimes on tactics and things like that, where we should go back to first principles. And this is what you just did now. And I think it has a tremendous value. And I really, really appreciate also the way you emphasize this diplomatic approach, by flipping it back, basically, and giving it back to them to own and explain the why behind what they are trying to push for. And there is always, everyone is a hero of his story, right? I like to say that we always have a
Very
good
nice.
reason to say something, to ask for something, and we're never the bad guy in the story, in our story. So there is always a story people tell ourselves, and if we get it, if we can understand the story, everything else will become much easier after that.
Absolutely. And I just can underline that. Never assume bad things from the other person. And in some cases, he has just a bad day, or she has a bad day, and the kid is sick or whatever. But never assume that the other person wants something bad for you, right? This is, even if that's very human. It's like, oh, this guy again. And it's just always like, we victimize ourselves, but this is not how we should operate in product. We should be proactive. Probably we should do this also in life, right? But be proactive and ask, okay, what is the background of this? And to give another story, I had once a guy, I think it was also marketing a few companies back, and he asked for stuff all the time. And I was like, okay, this is a lot of stuff, and some things are quite ridiculous. And it turned out he had no control about what he asked me for. So I made him a very simple backlog, like super simple, and say, look, this is all the stuff you asked for. These are the things we are working on. And now let's prioritize together. So what is the next thing from your stack, which I should discuss in my team? So this, of course, is not the role of the product manager, organize other people's desk, right? This is not our role, but it helped a lot, and it was not really work for me. It's like these little things. And if I never have an ask, I probably would thought this guy is crazy. He would just want to make my life difficult, right? But that was not the case.
I really like the way you approach it, actually, and I agree that of course it's not your job and your mission, your primary mission, to do that. And at the same time, talking about product operations, for example, this is closer to fostering collaboration and stuff like that. And in fact, there is one step between product operation and product manager. It's not that far away. We are, and I think Antonia Lundy was saying that on one of my previous interview. She was saying everyone, whether we are DevOps, product ops, product managers, we try to solve problem for people, right? And so this is what we do. It can be different. There are different ways of doing that. But in this example, in this story you just told, it was exactly about that.
Absolutely. And I just highlighted marketing and sales a lot. But to be fair, and this is in my experience, salespeople, they're the most data-driven people. Yeah. They sometimes have their own dynamic, right? We all know that, especially in B2B, like they sell everything which is not there yet. But they're data-driven. They're usually very open to discussions about data. They're super structured. Same for marketing. The most online marketing teams, they work with a lot of data. So if you talk data to them, they will listen, right? So this is my approach. And of course, if you have you have different types of people. We know that from life, and some are very rational people, some are more emotional people. So you also have to adjust a little to them. So that's basic human interaction, I guess. But especially in a work context, it's even more important because we, like you said, we're so in the tactics and try to optimize on our table. But to be honest, in product, what is our job? Make a viable and feasible product, right? And which viable for business and also for users. So these are probably the two main things, and feasibility more on the technical side, fair enough. And everything that helps, right? It's not always about you as a product manager. It's about, building a successful product. See this whole process as a process you do together helps a lot.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's inside the list of activities that you're supposed to do, whatever. If it helps, fulfilling this goal, you just articulated very well, then it's part of the job. And
Mhm.
regardless, it could be for product managers, but also for sales and marketing. We're talking about those guys as well. It doesn't matter if on the list of things there is not this activity. If this activity helps bringing more revenue, bringing more profitable revenue to the company, then that's one of your tasks as well. And I really like actually the fact that you talk about CS and sales and product, because I think that there are silos, really huge silos between those teams, and it's really time to break them. And this approach really helps breaking them out. So I really love where we are talking about those guys actually.
I mean, stay with the customer support. They know a lot about customer because the customer calls, the customer sends email. So have a structured process to get this data from customer service. And this also helps to understand their needs. And this data you get from customer service. And no matter if they fill out a kind of Excel sheet, what the customer wanted and kind of classify it, or you just have a talk every now and then, get this data and understand also the problems of customer service. So it's a win-win situation, right? And in my experience with building like a health platform, a digital health platform, naturally we have a lot of regulatory, like a huge regulatory and quality management department, because there's a very low tolerance for errors when it comes to health, right? People could die, right? So of course we had to do a lot of documentation and a lot of like certification rounds, and this is not big fun, right? This is not shipping stuff to customers, but this is, you have to see it as part of the product, like in a medical product. In that case, the regulatory, the documentary, quality management, this is part of your product. And if you say, oh, yes, I have to talk to this quality managers again for 3 hours and make some stupid documents, no, that's part of your product. And same for maybe a B2B product, where probably it's more sales driven. That's part of the product, because if you wouldn't have this interaction outside your company with customers, probably you don't have the data and the product is going nowhere. So my plea, if you put it like that, is go away from this stakeholder management concept and look at more like, okay, what is adding value to my value creation chain, and try to include people and discuss with them. And also you will have conflicts, and also you have problems in prioritizing stuff, because everything seems important, right? Everything is important, of course, but here, clarity, transparency, be open, proactive, empathic, and you will get somewhere, even if the others don't like your decision at this time.
Especially when, as you said earlier, we are talking a language that is not that far. Well, with marketing, sales, we have the data, right? It's a common language, and we can definitely have this point of view to be able to move the needle.
You know, in startups, like earlier phase startups, you have this founder or the founder team, and to be honest, they're a pain in the ass, right? Because they know everything better. But the truth is, they know everything better because they're thinking about this product for years, 24/7. And when Granny has the 80th birthday, the only thing they think about is the product, and they ask people for feedback, like family events. And this is so with all these kind of stakeholders, of course, they have a different perspective, and try to use them and try to use their perspective and their knowledge to build a better product.
Right, of course, and there are many people that can help us. I made a post about that, talking about the locals. When you don't have a map to go somewhere, Google Map doesn't work. What do? You go ask the local people, right? They know better. They know the road. So the principle is the same. And I really love how you approach also this alignment, just by, as a first simple step, and we get back to the first principle here as well, agree to disagree. Like, it's fine. You know, we have different standpoint, different opinion. We are seeing things from different angle. Let's share how we see things so we can both understand each other and find the best path to move forward.
there are many prioritization frameworks, and they all make sense in their environment. But basically, what it comes down to is why is it important, and why is it important now? Why now? Why not next week? Why not in next month? The cost of delay, right? So this is always the two questions you should have in a discussion with your stakeholders. If they have something urgent which kind of would kill your plan and your roadmap, why is it so important, and why do you need it now? Why at this moment? Why not what would happen if we would do it in 2 weeks? What would happen if we do it in 2 months? So this takes a lot of pressure out of this discussion. And maybe the person said, yeah, well, it's very important, but we still have 2 weeks time, 2 months time, and you can do it later. And then it's probably better for everyone. And then boom, you got it.
Sense of urgency and how you scale urgency. I mean, behind the word of priority or urgency, there are many things. There is complexity behind this word, and you just dig in to be able to understand what it means in the word of the person who said it.
Exactly.
I really like this simple why now. And talking about prioritization, I had a conversation also with, I think it was with Stefan. He was just saying like, okay, explain why you choose this prioritization framework. Doesn't matter which one you choose. Explain how this prioritization framework helps you understand what you just said now, the why we do that and why we do that now. And please don't change it too often. So once you get one and people understand it, stick to it. Don't change it every 3 months because, Kanban is better, or this Moscow is better, and let's do that instead of rice or whatever.
Yeah. But to add to that, one thing we owe Kanban is like this whole cost of delay idea. So for me, it's also the question: what would happen? What would happen if we do it later? What would happen if we do it next sprint? What would happen if we do it next month? What would happen if we do it next quarter? So just saying, I'm not saying no to what you're asking me for. I see it makes sense, but is it important now? And could we just let it sit? And then he said, no, that's a problem because there's this TV campaign, whatever, so we have to have it ready. Okay, fair. Then we had this discussion, and I might rethink my prioritization, right? So, that's for me the key elements. If you put it together, like expectation management, be transparent, clarity about your decisions, be proactive. That's one thing. Then the whole communications. Also sell your idea, sell why you're doing things that way you do. And third, building trustful relationships with your stakeholders. I think this is the most important.
That sounds essential and making everything else much easier after that. So hopefully once you understand, but we see that in life as well, right? And that's very logical. We didn't reinvent the wheel here. It's just a very basic principle of life and relationships applied to the work and the mission we have.
And to say something provocative, like a lot of things in product will be done by generative AI, like writing tickets, like this simple work, right? So our value as a product person is more in bringing this different perspective together, like this decision making. And of course, I, as a product manager, I bring the expertise about a customer. I bring the expertise about our business model, and I know the product strategy, and I bring this all together. This is my expertise, but still, there's a decision-making process in your whole company, and you have to understand this decision-making process. Who plays which role in the decision-making, and you have to be. It's like a politician, right? This when many product managers say, "Oh, this is getting too political." It's not about the politics. It's about building a relationship and also influencing the decision-making and be at the right time at the right place. So, and I believe this is not a bad thing. This is the value we bring. Work with data-driven, customer-focused, user-focused. Bring this perspective in the decision-making process, and also hear the other perspectives. And like writing tickets, don't focus. Like there are now courses on how to manage the backlogs from Scrum Alliance. So I'm member of Scrum Alliance, also a member of the Verein in Germany of the Scrum Alliance. But for me, this is not this is not work. This is not product work. This is tactics, simple tactics like how to fill out the Excel sheet. Okay, oh wow, let's make a course about this if you need it. The value we bring is that we try to build a great product. We try to make the product a little better for our customers and for our business. And therefore, we have to bring the perspectives together and be part of the decision making.
It's really on point, actually. It's provocative, of course, but it's so true that the value of now people working in tech is much more toward the people side of things than the tech side of things. Like, no matter your role, whether you are product managers and you need to talk to user internal teams to foster product excellence or better product management. You get that in sales as well, where you have tons of tools to do this and that, or in CS, tons of tools to do this and that. But what matters most is the relationship you will build and how you will understand your core ICP in a sales motion to be able to hit the mark here.
My intention wasn't to disrespect like people writing tickets and doing the prioritization, to have all these meetings. This is a very important part of the delivery. You have to ask yourself, how can I use my limited time and energy, and where can I put some marks in the decision making? How can I influence? How can I best improve the product and delivery? You and your team are the people who build it. But still, like everything before that, that's the other 80% of the value chain, right? Don't neglect that. And I believe if you spend some time and energy in the other 80%, not only in the delivery and maybe discovery and then black box and then it's delivery, it's a valuable invested time.
I don't want to go too much into the theory because those interviews are not at all about that. And I'm really grateful you share real life stories and real examples. But would you have, on this first principle of just managing collaboration, relationships, and it might not even be related to the workplace, but would you have something, a resource that people could read? If you have something in mind, I'm thinking to as a reading material or even a video or something like that, so people understand this concept and the depth of it. I think that could be helpful for the audience. I'm pretty sure everyone has on a high level understanding of what it means, but the reminder was great, and I think like being able to go a bit deeper in this reminder would be really, really helpful for people as well.
I mean, there's a lot of literature out there about the Harvard Business Review, like this journal website. There are a lot of articles like this. But let me put some things together for you, and then we can add it to the video so people can have a look about this. Yeah. But on the other hand, Matei, I believe people, they find their own way because we're all different. Some are more extrovert and some like to go drink beer, some not, some introvert. And we all have our ways, and that's all fine. But what I observe is that in the product scene, a lot of people, they don't dare to look outside their backlog because they think this is their responsibility, backlog, and I make the decisions for the delivery teams. That might be part of your job description, right? But go outside, talk to the people, not only the users, but also the people in your company, and you will find your way because that's how you are. And not sure if there's helpful to have like this recipes, like do A, B, C. Not sure about that because we are different.
I fully agree with you. I don't think there are, again, really maps that are working for everyone. They're just maybe principles that some people can reuse and incorporate in their own ways of doing things. And that's always helpful to take this step aside and get some concept on the things you maybe already do somehow, but just, getting the philosophy behind what you already do might help you make those things better. Thank you, Martin. It was really helpful. Great value, great stories. We have key takeaways. Lead with empathy, so you are able to understand the people you are working with. Go ahead and ask why they think what they think, why they tell you what they tell you, no matter who is that? Internal teams, external for users or other people. We are here to solve problems for people. So go outside of your line. If you need to swim outside, don't be afraid about doing that if it serves the final goal of building good products. So thank you so much, Martin.
Thank
really,
you.
really helpful. Wish to see you again in a further interview.
Sure.
And thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Matei. Have a great one too.